Hi, I'm back. I am coming to you tonight to talk to you about being tired. Being tired, yes. And at the same time, asking you if you will be my neighbor. Reminiscent of Rogers, we have a new tiara tonight. We're just switching it up. Anyways, being tired. Yes, there's been so much going on. I haven't had time to pop in, say hello, do any content. I actually have to sacrifice a lot of sleep to be able to come and do this part of the thing that I love, right? Which is being creative and talking and having fun with you. Um, so, in my short 43 years, I've come to some conclusions about things that everybody has an opinion about your life and what you're doing with it, and whether or not it's what they would do. So at the end of the day, really, you just have to be comfortable with what you're doing. Um, Everybody that knows me knows that my plate has always been runneth over at the edges, right? So it's not that, I just selectively have too much. It's that life's kind of dealt me a lot of cards, and I'm very stubborn in managing also the pieces that I want to do, much less the pieces that I have to do, right? Um, so to that point, I'm trying to finish my master's degree. I'm in the middle of the last week of a class that they gave me. I'm doing 8 weeks of classwork in 1 week. In addition, that I'm delivering some major projects at work for the college district. That I'm also trying to maintain some readiness items for the military. So it sounds like I'm all over the map, but it's still the same stuff, right? And last year during the pandemic, like, I resigned, I quit, I tried to scrape the plate clean because I just wanted to do my classes. And, like, it just wasn't in the cards. Like, I think that you're in other people's life for a reason, and whatever purpose I needed to serve is not done yet. But we had to go through a waiting period so we could all be at the same place. And whatever I'm supposed to do, I'm doing it, right? It's getting done now. I've always known that I wasn't going to make it to 80 years old. It's not something I want to do. I told people I know the other day, I was like, yeah, if it gets to a point where, I'm just not having life's not fun anymore, and physically I can't keep up with it, I'll just take up skydiving or something, like, some hobbies, right? But in all of it, when my son was dying, I was tired. I was tired then. You'd have nurses that would come in every 2 hours to do a treatment or whatever. And I still remember the night they woke me up and he was hitting respiratory failure. That was rough. Being a new mom, you expect that you're going to have natural, healthy kids, right? And then when you have kids that have special needs or they're terminally ill, it just rocks your world. Now, I don't mention it for people to feel sorry for me and tell me, oh, poor Amber. No, I've I've dealt with that. I was enraged for like 2 years after it happened, but I'm over it. I'm good. And so at the time, I really had to make a decision about, do I want to stay in bed and be depressed with my life, or want to do something with my life, right? So I had to do whatever I had to do to make sure that I wasn't going to sink into like a depression type state, right? What does that benefit anybody? But it's a mental, the exercise is the word that's coming to mind, but it's a mental feat of strength. And the more that you have to do it, the more that you're successful in doing it, the better you get at it. It doesn't get easy. It's still hard, and you still have to make sacrifices, but you just keep doing it. Throw yourself forward. There is no other way. And so I've got tons of shipments of brand new jewelry for a business that I started last year, right? That I'm enjoying, that I'm trying to, keep up with and keep fresh and keep going. At the same time that, I pick back up some other obligations. I love those obligations too, and I know that I'm doing the most good there. And my time won't always be there, so I'm giving them everything I've got. And hopefully this time next year I'll be getting my degree, my master's in public administration from Grand Canyon. So any good encouragement, good vibes you could send my way, please, I'll take it. Because Scott's a little hysterical lately. But What's hard is when you have people that don't understand what you're, they don't appreciate all of the things that you have to do to keep the trains running. And, I'm a mom too. Like, I have to keep the butts wiped and the faces fed and the cyclical things that you happen to have to run a household. Now, I've got some help, but not all the help that I need, actually, right? So we work through it. We just get it done. We do what we have to do. And then, taking on grandma, right, was, not my mom's passed away, but then, it's mother-in-law. The situation with her is, she has good days and she has bad days, and there's family members that don't see it. I think that was a really hard thing to get through recently. We actually, for Easter, she was she was on. It was like Vanilla came back. So, it was really good to see that kind of, renewed energy spurt. But she's having a bad weekend again. She's back to having a lot of pain, sleeping a lot. It's very interesting and fascinating to watch, kind of like the effects of dementia and that Alzheimer's, because I never really understood what sundowners look like. I had forgotten that was a thing. Over time, I've taken a lot of developmental psychology classes. I have a small certificate in developmental psychology, which also kind of developmental disabilities, which also causes you to have to study the normal progression of the human body and what it looks like when it's regularly happening and occurring naturally. And there's something that when you hit that advanced age, there's people, you're more susceptible to different things. So one of the things that I like to talk about with, I know I'm rambling so many things. There's such a broad spectrum of life, and I am not pigeonholed to any one of those things. Like I'm in and out, and I handle a lot of different stuff. And one of this, where I'm present right now, is kind of helping my mother-in-law on her journey, right, and grandma on what she has to get through. And like I said, it's very difficult when other family members, extended family, seem to not have the same experiences or not be there for the moment to moment, the day-to-day stuff, to see kind of like that cycle, right, and how hard it is. But we're coming up on close to a year that she's been with us, and the kids, it's good for her. She gets to see the kids on a regular basis, and she's needing the care, so it's been helpful. It's just been like an extra thing on the plate. So got my a lot of other administrative overhead stuff last month taken care of. That's why you didn't really see me much. I tried to make some posts for St. Patrick's Day, and I did a quick little live, but it was, it's just playing around right now. So one of the things is finishing this class and getting through April, and then getting to a place where I can, set up that live schedule and do the jewelry, because I really enjoy it, and I've met a lot of good people, and I've been, if I can mention them, Brenda from Brenda's Cheerful Glam, and then Cody from the was it Blue Eyed Bombshell Kingdom, right? And then of course my upline Cynthia Morales and Jennifer German. You guys have been great. You've kind of shown me the world of paparazzi for this business. I really like it. I think it's a great business model, and it's always fun to do. Like I enjoy having that as an extension of my life. One of the purposes of these videos is that people can kind of, get to know me a little bit, right, and understand where I come from, and why I'm quirky or weird, whatever. And then also, to, in all honesty, really, is to leave something in perpetuity for my kids to have of me. One of the topics that came to mind on Shane's birthday, this April 16th, was there's me and there's one other person I know in this world, in this life, that remembers him. And I should say a third, because Nurse Peggy counts. Thank you, Peggy. But David, right? My ex-husband, him and I mean, that's a situation that you never get over, losing a child. And I think that the situation with Chrissy Teigen kind of talking about it and bringing it front and center about her experience is helpful, and it's important. I think that there are varying degrees of grief and different scenarios when it's something that's sudden and unexpected versus when you've had time to kind of watch somebody go through the dying process, right? Like there's so many petty things that happen in life in other circles, like, at work, or, in other little drama circles, that you have to really sit back and remember that not everybody has been confronted with those life and death decisions. And so for them, it's like, it's better to just kind of preserve your peace and back out of the situation, right? So, I mean, that's a lesson I've learned over time. But two, I didn't take many pictures of Shane. So my point is in mentioning it that, if I don't remember him, who will, right? I mean, I know David will, I know Peggy will, but sometimes, we all forget his life. He was here, he existed, he was on this earth for, almost 5 years. So for me, I try to like remember him in my quiet way, but I remember that there was one time I found, those disposable cameras. I was like, oh, might as well use it. And the picture that I posted of him in the high chair eating a cookie was from that disposable camera. And, obviously this was like, early 2000s. So, we didn't have awesome camera phones and things at our fingertips. And so if I didn't take those pictures, I never would have had photos of him at that age, because we were so busy. And the first kid you take, you take every picture of them doing everything, taking a bite of food, pooping on the toilet, doing all the little kid things. By the second kid, you're just like, you're over it. You're just like, get them through the diaper stage, right? Like, get rid of bottles. So, at that point, you too, we're just trying to keep your head above water, right? I remember going to the baptism. I'm half dressed, the kids half dressed, and we're like going to be late, and we're trying to get did you get the video camera? No, did you get the video camera? So, you do the best you can, being a young parent too, trying to juggle all that stuff, right? I think I was like 19 when I got married the first time, and then I had the first kid by, 21 or 22. And then the second kid by 23. And that, at least I made that decision for myself, that I wasn't going to have kids right away, right? I wanted to kind of enjoy my money, right? And do some trips, right? So there's so many things I want to tell you about, where I come from and how I grew up, and, things that I want to remember, right? So that my kids can remember it. And I think in part of doing the Comeback Harmon opera is about preserving all the stories my parents repeatedly told me about, how they met, how they lived and as teenagers and stuff, because there's hours and hours of lectures. I think I'll never get that part of my life back, but it's got to count for something, right? So for me, I like art imitates life, but at the same time, art tells a story, right? And for me, that story is as important. It reflects who we are as people. It connects us in our humanity to each other. It helps us relate. Sometimes it's hard to talk about things head on, right? And not everybody shares the same experience, right? So you're going to have different reactions. And this allows them to kind of disassociate with a little bit and kind of understand, higher level concepts or principles, or find a small kernel of a piece of truth that, they can say, yeah, you know what, that resonated with me. But in any case, right, it's about expression, right? I used to enjoy dance quite a bit, and the older I get, but the busier I get. It's not just being old, it's just time. Where do you get the time, right? And so I had so much fun when I went to Argentina for 2 weeks. It was 2007. That was the best trip of my life. It was awesome, right? Italy was on the next stop and didn't quite get to it because life got in the way. But I made it to Ireland. I mean, when they asked me, what I wanted to do to commemorate Shane's passing, I said I wanted to go to Ireland because that was the most peaceful, green place I could think of. And I didn't want to be that mom that, was grieving and constantly crying and being tempted to go back to the gravesite, right? And for me, that's a personal choice that everybody has to make, right? Some people are more comforted by the fact that they have that routine and they can mark the seasons and everybody remembers. For me, it was that temptation to stay bound to something and not move on and not move forward. And so I saw a lot of people in my family, extended family, struggle with depression and, self-medicate and do things that weren't, healthy choices. So I hope that my life for my kids can stand to be an example and a reflection of, you don't have to deal with problems this one way. There's other ways to deal with things, right? and hopefully you're building and you're growing and you're moving forward. And that's really the life lesson you got to take away from all this stuff. And I'm getting super preachy, and I didn't mean to get preachy, but I just wanted to kind of touch base and let you know that I haven't been away because, you know, this is not something I don't want to do. It's just there's so much going on, and just trying to keep my head above water, right, and kind of swim, and make, you know, like Dory, just keep swimming. We'll get there. What else is cool? So, oh, videos. Okay, so I'm going to start posting the videos that I posted here to a YouTube channel. So I'll get that set up this weekend. I'm going to Las Vegas. Hi. So it'll be after that by the end of the month. And then, of course, I'll send out some notes and stuff. But and then also I want to talk a little bit more about, you know, the jewelry and about the makeup and about the different art things that I do. Somebody else was also recommending that I do a writing project tonight where I just go live, talk about all the stuff I'm doing, and if people want to ask questions or do, you know, listen to how the story's going, you can help maybe build it with me. I love children's books. I've got like a ton of children's books themes to write out. And even if some of my kids' friends come over, they've had great ideas. I think they one of them referred to our dog Ralph, who's kind of like a strangly poodle, as a mop, and our fat little Chihuahua Terrier as a sausage. So it's the adventures of Sausage and Mop. So we're gonna write about that. So I mean, it's just fun stuff. You know, you gotta leave behind, you know, things that bring people joy. Right? What do they say? If you hold it to you and it brings you joy, keep it. If not, give it away. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. All right. So it's after probably 1 a.m. right now. I'm like, so I'm gonna go to bed now, right? And then think about the homework I should be doing, and try to get up early and make that happen. So send me love, send me wishes of, you know, perseverance. I can kick it in the ass. I can do this. I can get it done. And my ass only has so many dimples because it's so cute. So anyways, have a good night. I hope you have a wonderful morning, and we will see you in a couple of weeks, maybe less than 2. Talk to you later. Bye.